Hi everybody, I'm Dawn, I'm your astrologer, and I wanted to take a minute to talk to you about the upcoming full moon in Aquarius, which happens on the 23rd. This is one of two very rare full moons in Aquarius occurring during Leo season. So July the 22nd, the sun moved into the sign of Leo, kicking off Leo season. Then on the 23rd, we have the first of two full moons in Aquarius. The second full moon in Aquarius will happen the last day of Leo season on August the 22nd. This is very interesting because Aquarius is the sign of the collective, humanitarian efforts, innovation, and cosmic collective growth and creativity, and how we do that from an individual perspective in our unique expression of that in collaboration with others. This is the age that we're moving into. And this is occurring during Leo season. And you know, Leo is a sign that has a reputation, is known to have attributes that make it want to be the center of stage, to receive all the limelight. And so we have these two Aquarius full moons occurring during Leo season. Because it's probably the sign that needs the most opportunity to integrate and share that limelight with others. And so this full moon will be happening on the 23rd in the States, 24th across the globe at 1 degrees. And so that also is very symbolic. This occurs at 1 degrees with the sun and the moon opposing each other. The sun and moon are always at the opposite ends of the spectrum, opposite each other in the chart during a full moon. And it is a culmination and ending, a closure of a cycle. Yet with this occurring at 1 degrees, it's also very symbolic of new beginnings. And so we have the sun in Leo at 1 degrees and the moon in Aquarius at 1 degrees. And these two luminaries will be in an inconjunct to Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Really the biggest significant aspect, only significant aspect that this full moon makes is this inconjunct to Jupiter. And this is pretty interesting because Jupiter is our planet of luck and expansion, the great benefic. And Jupiter is at the very final degrees of Pisces, retrograding back into the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of this full moon. And so that is very symbolic. If we think about an inconjunct, I'll give you my take on an inconjunct or a quincunx. With the new moon, the full moon, the sun and the moon in this inconjunct to Jupiter, getting ready to retrograde back into the sign of the Aquarius to expand our future with optimism. And I believe this is a chance for an optimistic completion of the work that we've been putting into our future and creating something new and innovative with this ongoing tense square aspect all year long between Uranus and Taurus, Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, to Saturn in Aquarius, the rules and restrictions in our society, and how we integrate into that in a necessary way of change. And so the way I view an inconjunct, if you look at it on a birth chart, an astrological chart of any kind, it shows up as a green dotted line. And with it happening at 1 degrees, it is an initiatory type of energy, a new beginning. 1 is the number for new beginnings. And I think of an inconjunct with these two opposite bodies trying to connect. There's an inconjunct, an inability to connect. And you see that dotted line. It's like when you're trying to tune in the radio station and you're turning the dial and you're getting a lot of static and you can't quite lock into the station. You can't quite make the connection. An inconjunct works very much like that. So if we can figure out what is causing that interference, what is interrupting that signal, what is causing that inability to connect these two energies, then we can symbolically create that line of connection between the sun and the moon, our emotions and our spirit, into expansion for the future collective, right? And so it's a balancing act of sorts, and that is the big message, in my opinion, of this full moon. Also, what is happening during the full moon is Mercury, our planet of communication. Mercury moved into on the 27th, moved into the sign of Leo, joining the sun. So Mercury has now shown up. And Mercury will be in a trine to Neptune, a very harmonious, supportive trine. And this is wonderful news because Mercury has been in an ongoing square to Neptune, 3 exact squares to Neptune, how we communicate and the divine inspiration, spiritual dream world, Neptune and Pisces, and that's where Jupiter's been expanding this. And so now we have this harmonious communication, Mercury trine Neptune. This is really increasing divine inspiration, our imagination, our intuition, our ability to intuit, to sense the verbal clues being emitted from others. This is when we can really tune in on an emotional level, a spiritual level, to the vibration that others are emanating, are communicating, even without words. And so it allows us to have some piercing insight and ability to really discern the facts. Our analytical minds now are in tune with this endless sea of possibilities and divine spiritual inspiration. And so this is a highly creative time for fueling our dreams, for imagination, for that divine blessing to come in. And so that is beautiful. And we'll also have the ability to expand our communications personally and globally in a way that increases the lack of clarity, the fogginess, the illusion of Neptune. However, this is a harmonious aspect. It is a trine aspect. And so that offers with it spiritual blessings. So we will have the eyes to see and the discernment of spirit to really hear the truth if we tap into that ability. Also, Venus, our planet of love, our planet of values in terms of love and money and how we draw abundance to us, what we value that we have, will be opposing Jupiter. Jupiter that is in this inconjunct to the moon and the sun during this full moon. And so this really is activated during the full moon. And remember, Venus has just passed Mars. Mars and Venus moving through the cosmos together. They had that conjunction not too long ago. And then Venus has moved past Mars in this dance. And so we're being led by our values, by our desires of our heart, from a place of heart-centered love, and aligning with that as we take action. Mars, our action planet. And so first Venus opposes Jupiter, then Mars opposes Jupiter. This is really activated during the full moon. It will continue on into next week. And so this is really giving us the ability to align with our dreams. You know, Venus and Jupiter, that social planet, that opposite in this opposition, really connecting from a personal level and expanding that connection with others, creating the dream together in this very humanitarian, equalitarian full moon in Aquarius. Really a creative energy. Mars and Venus are always a creative energy. And in this opposition to Jupiter, getting ready to move back into Aquarius with that inspired inspiration of the dream world of Pisces, we can really start to take some action in our collaborative efforts and align our values together and create a beautiful future. I love this energy, honestly. You know, yes, an opposition is a tense aspect, but it always is allowing us to see the polarity, you know, the axis that we're operating on, the duality of the energy. You know, anytime you have a full moon, the sun and the moon are opposing each other. They are not warring factions. They are doing the same thing. They have the same objective, and that is to shine a light, to illuminate something. You know, the moon illuminates what's hidden in the dark, you know, that we don't see, and brings it to light. And the sun illuminates something hidden in plain view in the light of day right in front of us. And so knowing that this duality of axis has the same objective really helps us to embrace the energy of this Venus and Mars opposing Jupiter during this full moon. And as this plays out over the next week, then we can really step into that optimistic, inspired creativity. And you know, Jupiter and Venus are the great benefics. They're the two benefactors. They are the most benefic, you know, Venus representing the greater benefic that kind of operates above our human ego, and then Venus, the lower benefic, our human desires, our human heart. And so this full moon in Aquarius, you know, it's a fixed energy. You know, Aquarius is a fixed sign, and this is kind of different. This is refreshing. This is how do we fix into the truth of who we are. We've been operating in a year of mutable energy, eclipses happening in mutable energy, and now we have this full moon in this fixed energy, and it's really requiring some innovative breakthroughs, some changes. It is an initiatory energy, even though it's happening on the culmination of a full moon cycle with both of our luminaries, the sun and the moon, at 1 degree. In the sign of Leo, our inner fire, our courage and our strength, and in the sign of Aquarius, the collective and our future vision, really does culminate an energy of integrating with our diverse differences to create a positive future, a very optimistic energy. And so I hope that this has given you a highlight of the energies at play and how we can utilize that. You know, we all have Aquarius in our chart somewhere, and Aquarius rules the 11th house of groups, others, our community, our tribe. And so if you look to where Aquarius is in your chart, or what is in your 11th house in your specific natal chart, this will really give you a better idea of where this energy is culminating, what cycles are closing, and some innovative action that can be executed from this point on as we have this closing cycle, culmination cycle, all at 1 degree and an initiatory energy in this sign of Aquarius for the future. So I wish you all the happiest of full moon blessings. If I can be of service in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me for your personal chart reading. And thank you for the opportunity to connect.